Okay, interesting. Tell me, how difficult is it to train young therapists in this methodology? How complex, how difficult is it for comparison to other models, from the simplest to the complex?
Well, I think that we have to make a reflection on that, because for a lot of people, doing therapy is to perform a technique. Already Mike and Vittorio also, but Mike most of all was against
against this trend.
Against also the reduction of psychotherapy to performance, to techniques. Okay.
And yet younger people are eager for these techniques.
Oh yeah, because younger people, the only thing that they want to is to have three things to feel sure.
To feel safe. And
to feel safe when they are faced with a client. So more conceptualization, it's easy. More the training, the trainee is happy.
Is happy.
No?
More is safe than he can do something.
But then he can act in a way that is effective for itself.
And you dare to counteract this? So you dare?
Well, I think that, and I'm sure that every therapist that does his work with science, consciousness, and understanding knows that you must have a sensitivity, a capability that has to be worked out in time. Mm-hmm. It's a practical science. You have to learn from yourself every day, and you have every day to make more fine, make more acute your instruments. Your instruments are your sensibility. So this is something that you don't learn with technique, and I'm against teaching as a way to I don't have the exact word in English, but as a way to pass to the student just techniques.
Like a map.
Yeah, like a map.
But anyway, you have to teach them, and you teach them what principles, guiding principles?
Well, I teach them, my training, it's a 4 years training, and I teach them, first of all, I deconstruct, what I do, I deconstruct.
You deconstruct.
The teaching from universities.
Some aspects.
Some aspects. In terms of giving different perspective of the same issue, evidently. And then we start to analyze clinical cases, and then we start to do personal therapy in the group.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And they are available for that?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
We are a small group of 15 people. So this is along the 4 years. So when they when they come out from our schools, they have been trained conceptually, clinically, and also personally.
There you can find a lot of resistance and difficulties on your trainees, or are they open to this experience?
Yeah. Yeah, there are people then that there are trainees that needs maybe a one-to-one therapy, some of them, but majority of them, the encounters that we make during the training are enough.
Do you believe guiding principles and change process fundamentals will take place over schools and models as an evolution of psychotherapy, as some of our fellows believe?
I'm not sure about it.
You're not a believer.
No, I think that the great curiosity about the soul, and when I speak about soul, I'm evidently speaking about what Aristotle called kinesis to bio. That means the movement of the life that everybody of us is. Now, this great curiosity, it's always a renewing task. So every generation, I think it's the burden and also the destiny of every generation to bring forth a story and to renew the story. That means to destroy a trick principle and just to rework it out. So let's hope that what I'm saying tonight, the next generation of students that I am training will be able to destroy and to create a new opening, new perspective.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
You have entitled your Lisbon workshop first day as After Constructivism, the new conceptual frame of post-rationalist psychology. Could you tell us in advance what will be the main focus of this theme, the new conceptual frame of post-rationalist?
Of course not.
Please.
Do you want to?
Shortly?
Yeah, okay. In reality, it's to try to show that constructivism in all the different declinations today, it's just a remake of the father, of what the father, the conceptual father of constructivism has made at the beginning of the last century. The conceptual father was a neo-Kantist philosopher, a neo-Kantian from University of Marburg. His name was Nathorp, and he has written a very important book that the title is Allgemeine Psychologie. It's not translated in English. It's general psychology, basically. And all the principles that the different schools of constructivism are defending are just a declination of this extreme advanced form of neo-Kantism. So what I'll do tomorrow, I'll try to show that there is another way to speak about constructivism than through the neo-Kantist model.
Well,
and of course, that will bring us also to a new way of conceptualized post-rationalism. That is a word that I don't like.
You don't like.
Everybody knows that.
Yes. You recently published a very interesting article integrating psychology and neuroscience about individual variability in emotion processing, mapping individual differences, results shedding new light on variability in neural networks of emotion, right? What could be the main implications for clinical work? Is there any implication?
This is a clear example of how a new way of understanding psychology can open a new conversation in neurosciences with neuroscientists. And this is an fMRI study, and we are bringing basically within neuroscience the inter-individual differences. That is something that neuroscientists usually don't do. So I think there we can open a very new, interesting confrontation, dialogue, I would say, that will be helpful for us because we'll shed light on new substrate for clinical problems, and we can do that with neuroscientists, with neuroscience, and it is very interesting for neuroscientists because can give them the possibility to understand that humanity is not reducible to a model of humanity.
To a model.
To a model. That is to, subjectivity. It's a plurality of subject. It's not reducible to one normative subject, as in methodology of neurosciences, natural science obliged to do.
We are used to listen about a crisis in psychotherapy. You yourself, you are not so happy on the developments you see around. What's your best hope to psychotherapy?
My best hope is that psychotherapists leave forever theory and start to understand that their science, and I underline science, it's a practical science that has to develop a methodology of a practical science, and that deals first of all with people that has a first person experience, and that is the center of every kind of care.
Okay, that's your best wish and your
Yeah.
best hope.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Giampiero.